This is NDTV. And you're watching Ndtv-Hindu.
The 62nd Republic Day was celebrated with much fanfare throughout the country today, with the colourful displays of Indian culture and the reassuring images of India's military might. A proud day for us all, but there's a lot else making news. After today's break, when you head to work tomorrow, will you be greeted with long hours of wait at the bus stand? Well, that's the worry tonight, as trade unions within the MTC announce a strike for tomorrow. But the Transport Minister gives his word of reassurance, saying that buses will operate normally. Now, our reporter Salim is tracking these developments for you. And meanwhile, switching tracks ahead of the polls, Captain Vijaykanth is arming himself. The latest move, a massive enrollment drive, a bargaining chip in this game of poker? Well, that's the question we're asking at this hour. Our senior editor, Radhika Iyer, will be joining us for more on that. A very good evening to all of you and welcome to Headlines Now with me, Ashmit. We'll get you all the insights in just a bit, but first, let's take a look at the top stories. Even as trade unions announce a statewide strike tomorrow, State Transport Minister assures that the buses will operate normally. His captain looking for more bargaining power, Vijaykanth, goes on an enrollment drive as over 1,000 people from other parties join the DMDK. Fishing for vote, it seems, in Nagapattinam, Amma hits out at the Prime Minister, asks for him to step down if he cannot handle the issue. Gas leak in Puducherry chemical plant sends 30 people to the hospital. Chief Minister orders a factory shutdown. Jairan is the latest to make a big switch from directing to acting, and he seems to have impressed the superstar Rajni.
வில்லன் குரூப் இருந்தால் தனி ஒரு ஆளை போய் சாதிச்சிடுவார் அப்படின்ற மாதிரியான ஒரு ஜோடனைகள் இல்லாத ஒரு யதார்த்தமான ஒரு கேரக்டர் தான் அந்த படம்.
Let's also have a look at developments coming in from across the country. 7 people are arrested for burning alive a district collector trying to film kerosene pilfering. The public prosecutor says important people could be involved. Some of India's most prominent artists write to the Prime Minister protesting the imprisonment of Binayak Sen. Montek says diesel prices must be hiked and petrol taxes shouldn't be cut. Forecasts that food inflation will single down to single digits by mid-March. Leander Pace and Mahesh Bhupathi enter the semi-finals of the Australian Open after a well-fought win over their opponents. And the Rafa Slam dream comes to an end as fellow Spaniard David Ferrer beats Nadal in straight sets in the quarterfinals of the Aussie Open. Well, first up, in some critical news that is likely to be of relevance to you, commuters in Chennai. A few trade unions operating in the MTC have decided to go on a strike tomorrow. Now, the trade unions have announced this strike, demanding a hike in their salary. Now, will it affect you tomorrow when you travel to your workplace? That's the question that we are asking for you. Well, if the words of Mr. K.N. Nehru, the Minister of Road Transport, are to be believed, there is a little reason to worry. He has assured that buses will operate normally across the state. Now, amongst the more vociferous unions which are likely to participate in a strike are the CIPU, the ATP, the DMDK, MLF, MDMK, AITUC and the TPSF. But sources are telling us that the ruling party union employees will be on duty. Now, transportation is expected to be affected marginally tomorrow. Now, again, a critical story, this one, and Salim, our reporter, is of course tracking this one. So again, over to you, Salim. Again, the one question that has to be dominating the minds of most people in Chennai is, how will I be affected tomorrow when I go to work? Will I be able to catch a bus easily? How is the situation going to be tomorrow morning during rush hour?
Ashmit, last time when there was a similar strike, we were reading stories of school children walking all the way to their respective homes during the peak hours. So there will be some hiccups for the passengers who are prepared to take MTC buses tomorrow. The reasons, trade unions backed by the opposition parties have said that they will go on strike from tomorrow morning. Conductors and drivers of CITU and other trade unions are likely to stay away from work, and this would lead to disruption in bus services. When contacted, the trade unions say that they have been asking the state government to offer salaries at par with electricity board employees. They say they demanded a 40% pay hike, but the government has only announced a nominal salary hike. The employees would be getting an additional salary hike between 2,000 rupees and 4,543 rupees as per the revision, and hence they say that they are not happy with the salary hike, and they demand a 40% pay hike, and they say that they have prepared to go on strike tomorrow.
Right, Salim there. So unhappy workers going on strike, but nonetheless, talking about this strike in the context of the commuters, again, what is going to be the severity of the strike? We understand that DMK affiliated union members will again stick to their job, will continue to operate normally. So will the strike be very severe, or perhaps will it be again supported, buffered, helped by this move by the DMK supported unions?
Yeah, we cannot actually expect the strike to be very severe, because as you said, the DMK, the union backed by the DMK are ready to operate the buses, and hence they say that there will be a partial impact of the strike, but however, there will be some hiccups for the passengers who are prepared to take the MTC buses from tomorrow morning.
Right, Salim, thanks for joining us with those latest updates again from your sources. Again, so the word coming in is, of course, be prepared for some hiccups, but nonetheless, with the word of the Transport Minister, you can expect some normalcy in transportation. So that's the word coming in at this hour. Now, moving ahead, after Amma and Karunanidhi, it's now Captain who's on an enrollment drive. Over 1,000 people are all set to join Vijayakant's DMDK in the city today, and most of these people are from other political outfits. Now, interesting to note is that this comes just days after the AIADMK Supremo J. Jayalalitha had thousands of people joining her party from across other parties as well as students.
தேர்தல் என்பது ஒரு வாரங்கிறது ஒரு வருஷம் வர, அதனால பயப்படவே வேண்டாம். மக்களை என்ன நம்புறாங்க, நான் மக்களை நம்புவேன். அது நம்புறதுக்கு டைம் இருக்கு, எவ்வளோ அவங்க என்னை நம்பி இந்த பாருங்க, இந்த இவ்வளோ பெரிய கூட்டத்தை நீங்கள் என்னைக்கு பார்த்தீங்க? அவங்களா கூட்டிகிட்டு வர கூட்டம் கிடையாது, அவங்களா வருவாங்க, நிச்சயமாக நான் செய்வேன். அதான் நான் எல்லாரும் முன்னாடி பகிரங்கமாக தான் பேசுகிறேன், தனிப்பட்டு நான் பயந்துலாம் பேசுகிறேன். எல்லாரும் முன்னாடி பகிரங்கமாக சொன்னேன், என் மக்களை யார் சந்தோஷமாக வச்சுருப்பாங்களோ அன்னைக்கு பார்ப்போம்.
Right, so interesting moves these, and actually delve deeper in these moves and about the relevance of these moves, what they actually mean. We are now joined by Radhika Iyer, our senior editor, who's joining us live from the newsroom. Now, Radhika, the first question that I'll ask you is that he seems to be arming himself, Captain seems to be arming himself with a bargaining chip right now. What impact is that likely to have on the political configuration heading into the polls?
That's right, Ashmit. In fact, this entire enrollment drive which happened on the Republic Day evening, and of course the timing of it is very pertinent considering talks are on between the AIADMK, the main opposition party in Tamil Nadu, as well as talks with other smaller parties that Jayalalitha is likely to align with ahead of the polls. And we do know, and it's an open secret now, that the DMDK is of course one of the contenders to have as many as possible seats during their alliance, and they are at the moment talking to Jayalalitha. We know that a 3-member team from the DMDK as well as from the AIADMK from respective parties have been into informal talks, and Jayalalitha has only said that post Pongal, which is around after the 14th and 15th, is when the actual talks, formal talks of seat sharing will continue. For now, we do hear from sources within the AIADMK that Amma has for the moment given slots of discussion with the smaller parties. Even in the recent press conference, Jayalalitha had very categorically said that yes, Karthik, another actor turned politician, someone who was chief of the former Forward Bloc, again has met with the former chief minister and of course the opposition party leader to try and discuss. But when asked about Vijayakant and the DMDK, she very categorically said no comments in her own very verbose way. That again is an indication that perhaps talks have reached a stalemate. According to our sources from the DMDK, the captain of that and literally the captain of the DMDK is bargaining for nothing short of 50 seats. They're asking for 60 seats, but they do not want to stop short of nothing short of 50 seats. Whereas the AIADMK, according to two theories, say that they'll be either at this moment offering 41 seats to the DMDK or 43. Now that's something that the DMDK is not very happy about. Perhaps this enrollment drive, an idea of the captain of the DMDK to try and put some pressure upon the AIADMK to show his mass base, to show his strength, to show that 1,500 people have joined his party, and so to increase his bargaining power. But according to some other sources who seemed very upbeat, very confident of the prospects of the DMDK in the future in the polls that we're likely to see this summer. They also say that if the talks continue to reach this kind of stalemate, then there's all likelihood that perhaps the DMDK would even choose to lead an alliance. Now, how prospective would that be is a big question mark, but they say that that is a possibility as well.
Right, Radhika. Interesting permutations, combinations, those are coming in. And thanks for offering us that inside edge from the political spectrum. Now, moving ahead, in more action from the political spectrum, the recent killing of a Lankan fisherman allegedly by the Lankan Navy is fast turning into a poll plank. Now, looking to milk this burning issue, Amma took on the leader of the nation, Prime Minister, again the head on. Now, she slammed the centre, calling the Prime Minister ineffective and demanding his resignation. Now, meanwhile, she also upped the ante on the ruling state government, blaming it for status quo. Party's chief Jayalalitha visited the widow of Jayakumar, an AIDMK party member who was allegedly killed by the Lankan Navy. Now, at a village, this was of course at a village in Nagapattinam district. Now, the recent spate of attacks have flared up the tempers in the region, and experts see this move by Amma as an attempt to gain political capital and to woo the fishing community ahead of the elections.
So, central government should act decisively and issue a stern warning to Sri Lanka in such a manner that Sri Lanka does not dare to attack our fishermen again. But that is missing because the central government is weak. And the Prime Minister is ineffective.
Well, moving on to some other critical developments. Initial reports point at involvement of very powerful people in positions of power in the killing of District Collector in Malegaon. We get you the details on the other side. Keep watching.